My beloved, be still for a moment. Feel what is already happening inside your chest. That tightening you couldn't explain. That pressure that followed you through the night. That moment when sleep refused to fully take you. That was not anxiety. That was not imagination. That was me. I am Archangel Michael, and I have been standing near you since before the sun rose today. Heaven has been attempting to reach you gently, quietly, patiently, but gentleness was ignored. So now I speak with urgency, not to frighten you, but to keep you from losing something that is already in motion. Listen carefully. What you are reading was not meant to be found casually. It surfaced because a decision was made behind your back, a decision that touches your future, your peace, and the soul of someone you love more than you admit out loud. This is not ordinary betrayal. It is not emotional misunderstanding. It is spiritual, deliberate, and dangerous if left unexposed. God is not angry with you. God's attention is fixed elsewhere, and time has become fragile. For 3 days, heaven delayed a ruling. 3 days, angels stood waiting, watching, hoping you would arrive here without being forced. Your name was spoken in a closed gathering of authority, not symbolically, not poetically, literally, spoken, repeated, marked. You did not stumble into this message. Heaven does not misplace moments like this. It aligns them. And right now, there is a pause in the unseen realm. Everything is watching you. Your spirit already knows that something is different. That's why you didn't scroll. That's why your breathing slowed when you reached these words. Do not leave. What was once hidden has reached the point where it must be revealed. I was not permitted to speak at first. I asked. I waited. I returned again. And when God finally answered, the instruction was simple. If they listen now, reveal everything. If they turn away again, allow consequences to unfold. This is not punishment. This is rescue. Someone attempted to exchange your peace for their advantage. A choice was made quietly by someone who once stood close enough to know your patterns, your fears, your vulnerabilities. That decision involved your household. It involved your lineage. And yes, it involved your daughter. Not because she is evil, because she is exposed. Before I continue, notice your body. If your chest feels tight, if your eyes sting, if your heartbeat has shifted without warning, that is confirmation. Your spirit recognizes truth faster than your mind ever could. Do not tell yourself you will return later. Later does not exist here. If you feel this message pressing on you, acknowledge it. Quietly, even under your breath. That acknowledgement is not for me. It is a signal to heaven that you are awake. And if you feel compelled to stay connected to this voice, to these messages, to what is unfolding through them, do not resist that pull. Staying connected is not loyalty to a channel. It is alignment with timing. Now listen. 6 days ago, a woman connected to your daughter made a decision fueled by envy disguised as concern. She entered an agreement she believed would never be seen. Your name was included. Your home was referenced. Your peace was targeted. And she smiled while doing it. She believed heaven was distracted. I was not. She is not a stranger. That is what makes this dangerous. Familiar access is always more powerful than open hostility. She listened. She observed. She learned what mattered to you. And then she used it. Your daughter trusted her voice because it sounded protective. That was the deception. God's anger is not sudden. It is precise. He sees that your daughter believes she is shielding you when in truth she is participating in the erosion of something sacred. Not intentionally, not maliciously, but influence does not require consent to be effective. If this remains hidden beyond tonight, a window will close. Not forever, but long enough to delay what was already moving toward you. Heaven cannot place weight where truth is resisted. I know this hurts. I know part of you wants to deny it. But truth is no longer whispering. It is stepping forward. There is something inside your home that does not belong there. Not an object, not a document, an agreement. Energy bound by intention, quiet, patient, waiting for permission to activate fully. Your daughter senses it. She does. She feels the unease, the subtle wrongness, the moments when her intuition speaks, and she pushes it down. Each time she silences it, she silences a warning meant to protect both of you. The woman behind this has carried jealousy for years. Smiles hid it. Familiarity concealed it. And when the opportunity came, she framed manipulation as blessing, a curse wrapped in concern, a delay presented as protection. That is why your atmosphere has felt heavier. That is why conversations shift when you enter rooms. That is why exhaustion appears without cause. Your spirit is registering interference. This is not imagination. This is warfare. And now, I am asking you to take something back. Authority, not strength, not perfection. Authority does not require energy. It requires decision. The agreement made in your name can only be broken by the one whose name was spoken. You, heaven has been waiting for your voice. Silence has never been humility. Silence here is surrender. There is more beneath this. Deeper layers your daughter does not fully see yet. The woman did not act alone. She was advised, guided by someone who appears wise, calm, spiritual, an older man who has done this before. He recognizes bloodlines with light in them. That is why your family was chosen. You carry something inherited, an anointing that threatens systems built on control. This was targeted because your breakthrough is close. Darkness does not mobilize unless something valuable is approaching. Your blessing is not distant. It is near. That is why interference intensified. Last night, your name was spoken again. Not in heaven. Elsewhere, plans were discussed. Delays calculated. They believe you are unaware. They are wrong. Do not judge your daughter when the truth begins to surface. God's focus is protection, not condemnation. Her silence is fear, not rebellion. But silence has consequences. You are the door truth will enter through. If you are still here, your spirit already knows this is real. Quietly allow it. Give permission in your heart for full clarity. You do not need dramatic words. Readiness is enough. Something will happen within 3 days. A conversation, an invitation, an offer that feels slightly off. Someone will watch your face too closely. Someone will speak too gently. When that moment comes, do not confront. Observe. Let heaven move first, and stay connected. Messages like this do not arrive once. They unfold. Those who remain near hear what others miss. Breathe. What has been hidden is beginning to loosen. Stay with me. Do not pull away now. What you are stepping into is not information. It is position. The moment you stayed, instead of closing this, something shifted in the unseen. Awareness has weight, and once weight is applied, structures built on secrecy begin to crack. I need you to understand something very clearly. The reason this feels heavy is because you are standing at the exact point where truth and resistance meet. That pressure you feel is not danger. It is exposure. When light enters a closed space, everything hiding there reacts. Your daughter did not wake up one day and choose distance. Distance was planted slowly. Quiet suggestions, repeated phrases, gentle doubts disguised as care. Maybe you should focus on yourself. Maybe you need space. Maybe their influence is holding you back. Those ideas did not start in her. They were introduced, nurtured, repeated until they felt like her own thoughts. That is how manipulation survives. It convinces the heart it is choosing freely. And the woman behind this understood timing. She waited until your daughter was tired, until she was uncertain, until she wanted relief more than clarity. Then she stepped in as comfort, not force. Comfort. The man advising her understood structure. He knew not to rush. He knew not to alarm. He knew exactly how to frame spiritual language so it sounded elevated, harmless, even enlightened. But his intent was never healing. It was control through dependence. And here is the part most people never realize. Spiritual interference does not announce itself with chaos. It introduces calm first, false peace, temporary relief, the kind that feels good immediately but weakens you slowly. That is why your daughter defended these voices when something inside her felt wrong. Relief is addictive when clarity feels heavy. You notice the changes before you named them. The pauses in conversation, the way she guarded her phone, the way her tone shifted when certain names were mentioned, the way she seemed present physically but distant emotionally. None of that was random. Your spirit recognized separation before your mind accepted it. And you questioned yourself. You wondered if you were imagining things. You told yourself not to overthink. That hesitation was used against you. Because when someone with authority doubts their perception, it creates space for intrusion. But that space is closing now. The agreement made behind your back did not fail completely, but it did not succeed the way it was intended. It stalled. It lingered. It waited for you to disengage fully. That disengagement never happened. Even when you were tired, even when you felt pushed aside, you never stopped caring. You never stopped praying. You never stopped holding the line emotionally. That is why this message reached you before collapse. Your presence is the barrier they underestimated. Soon, your daughter will feel the pressure increase, not because danger is growing, but because deception cannot survive scrutiny. When truth approaches, lies rush. Expect urgency where there was patience before. Expect promises where there were suggestions. Expect pressure disguised as opportunity. That will be your signal. And when it happens, you must remember this. Do not argue with her confusion. Confusion dissolves when it is not fought. It dissolves when it is witnessed safely. You are not there to convince. You are there to anchor. When she speaks defensively, hear fear underneath. When she avoids, recognize overwhelm. When she lashes out, recognize conflict. Respond slowly, calmly, with certainty. Certainty does not raise its voice. The energy surrounding your home is already responding. You may notice small things first: sleep shifting, dreams becoming sharper, a sense of emotional release followed by exhaustion. That is not weakness. That is adjustment. When pressure lifts, the body finally processes what it has been carrying. Let it. You are not required to confront anyone yet. Exposure will happen without your force. Truth surfaces naturally when influence weakens. Conversations will slip. Stories will contradict. Timelines will stop aligning. That is how hidden agreements unravel. And here is what matters most. You are not here to punish your daughter. You are here to reclaim her clarity. God's concern is not retribution. It is rescue. Her heart has not turned against you. It has been crowded. And crowded hearts make choices they don't fully understand. This is why patience is critical now. Not passive patience, grounded patience. The kind that watches closely without panicking. The kind that stays steady while others grow restless. Within days, there will be a moment when she tests the ground. She may say something casual. She may ask a question that seems unrelated. She may mention someone's advice and wait for your reaction. That is not coincidence. That is her intuition checking if it is safe to doubt. Make it safe. Say less than you think you should. Silence paired with presence is powerful. Let her fill the space. Let truth surface on its own, and stay connected to messages like this. Not because you are dependent, but because timing matters. When awareness arrives in stages, missing one stage can blur the next. Those who remain attentive receive continuity. Those who disconnect feel confusion return. This is not fear. This is alignment. Your role is not finished, but it is becoming clearer. You were never meant to lose her. You were never meant to be replaced. You were never meant to be silenced. The interference counted on your exhaustion. It counted on your doubt. It counted on time. It miscalculated you. Breathe again. What was tightening is loosening. What was hidden is destabilizing. What was delayed is moving again. Stay with me. This is where the structure finally begins to collapse. What you are feeling now is not escalation. It is release trying to happen, while old tension resists leaving. That inner pressure, the slight emotional fatigue mixed with clarity, is what happens when truth starts displacing something that has occupied space for too long. I need you to hear this without fear. Nothing has power over you anymore unless you agree with it. The agreement made behind your back relied on one thing only: your continued unawareness. That was its fuel. The moment you became aware, it stopped growing. And now, because you stayed, because you did not turn away, it has begun to reverse. This is why things may feel unstable around you for a short time. Instability does not mean loss. It means rearrangement. Lies cannot exit quietly. They resist. They distract. They try to reassert relevance. But they cannot win once their source is exposed. Your daughter is closer to truth than you think. She has been carrying an uneasiness she could not name, a sense that something she agreed to did not bring the peace she was promised. The relief faded too quickly. The clarity never came. And the voices that once sounded wise began to feel demanding. That is not coincidence. That is discernment waking up. She has already questioned the woman privately, not directly, internally. She has noticed inconsistencies. She has felt moments of guilt she could not explain. Guilt does not always mean wrongdoing. Sometimes it means intuition, recognizing misalignment. And the man advising her senses the shift. He is watching more closely now, pushing subtly, encouraging decisions to be made faster, pressuring her to commit before she has time to think. Urgency is always a sign of weakening influence. Truth does not rush. Manipulation does. You may soon notice attempts to isolate her emotionally, suggestions that others wouldn't understand, encouragement to keep things private, framing secrecy as maturity. That is the final tactic before exposure. Do not panic when you see this. Panic feeds the very thing that is dissolving. Your steadiness is the counterforce. There is something important you must understand about your role. You are not fighting darkness. You are outlasting it. Darkness burns itself out when it cannot provoke reaction, when it cannot pull you into fear, anger, or desperation. It loses leverage. That is why your calm matters more than confrontation. Soon, your daughter will experience a moment of emotional contradiction. She will feel pulled in two directions at once: loyalty versus intuition, comfort versus truth, familiar voices versus an inner knowing she has ignored for too long. That moment will feel uncomfortable for her. That discomfort is holy. Do not remove it. Do not rush to soothe it away. Growth happens in that tension. Awakening requires discomfort. If you rush to fix her feelings, you delay her clarity. Instead, stay available. Let her see that she does not lose love by questioning. Let her feel that doubt does not equal abandonment. Let her discover that she is allowed to change her mind without losing you. This is how control breaks. The energy that entered your home without permission is already retreating. It cannot remain where authority has been reclaimed. You may notice subtle shifts, less heaviness, moments of sudden peace followed by waves of emotion. This is normal. When something unnatural leaves, the body and spirit recalibrate. Allow it. You are not required to perform rituals. You are not required to confront anyone verbally. Your awareness, your intention, your steadiness have already initiated removal. Heaven does not require noise to act. And now I need to tell you something that may surprise you. The delay that affected your life was not punishment. It was containment. God prevented certain blessings from arriving, while interference was present, not to withhold from you, but to protect what was coming from being contaminated. Some doors were paused on purpose. Those doors are reopening now. You may notice opportunities reappearing that you thought were gone forever. Conversations restarting. Financial movement where there was stagnation. Ideas returning that once felt blocked. That is not coincidence. That is flow resuming. And it will not arrive loudly at first. It will arrive subtly. A message, a thought, a small opening. Pay attention to what returns without force. That is how you will recognize what is aligned. Your daughter's restoration is part of a larger correction. When one gatekeeper awakens, multiple pathways clear. Your family line carries resilience that was underestimated. That is why interference targeted you indirectly rather than directly. Direct confrontation would have failed. But indirect influence also fails when exposed. The woman behind this is already sensing loss of control. She may attempt to reinsert herself emotionally. She may seek reassurance. She may frame concern again. Do not engage deeply. Politeness without access is enough. Boundaries do not need explanation. The man advising her will begin to retreat once exposure becomes unavoidable. These types disappear when they can no longer operate quietly. He will move on to easier targets. You are no longer easy, and your daughter will feel relief when the noise fades. She may not admit it immediately, but peace always reveals itself through behavior before words. Watch her shoulders. Watch her breath. Watch how her sleep changes. That will tell you everything. Stay connected, not out of fear, but out of alignment. Messages like this unfold because timing is layered. Those who stay attentive recognize patterns before they repeat and breathe. You are not losing anything. You are reclaiming. What tried to settle into your home has been uprooted. What tried to confuse your daughter is weakening. What tried to delay your future is collapsing. Remain steady. The next shift will be unmistakable. Stay with me. This is the final turn of the key. What is happening now is no longer resistance. It is alignment locking into place. When interference breaks, there is always a moment of stillness before movement resumes. That stillness is where you are now. It might feel quiet, almost too quiet. Do not mistake that for emptiness. It is recalibration. Heaven is resetting the order. Your daughter is standing closer to truth than she has in a long time. Even if she has not spoken it yet, her spirit has already crossed a line. She cannot unknow what she now senses. The voices that once felt guiding no longer feel safe. The comfort they offered has thinned, and when comfort loses substance, the heart begins to search for what is real. That is when memory returns. She is remembering you in ways she forgot she could. Not arguments, not tension, presence, consistency. The way you stayed when things were difficult, the way you noticed her moods without demanding explanations, the way your love did not depend on her agreement. That memory is destabilizing the false narrative she was given. Soon, she will test that memory. She may bring up the past unexpectedly. She may ask a question that seems casual but carries weight. She may mention something she was told and pause, waiting to see if you will confirm or contradict it. This is not confrontation. This is invitation. Answer gently, honestly, without defensiveness. You do not need to expose anyone. Truth does that on its own. Simply speak from your lived reality. That authenticity will undo months of manipulation faster than any accusation ever could. And when she begins to see clearly, it will not look dramatic at first. It will look quiet, thoughtful, a little shaken. She may withdraw briefly, not away from you, but inward. Give her space without distance. Let her process without pressure. This is how return begins. Now listen carefully, because this part matters deeply. The interference that tried to attach itself to your life also attempted to touch your future provision. That is why finances, opportunities, or stability felt delayed. Not blocked, delayed. There is a difference. Blockage is denial. Delay is timing adjustment. God does not release increase into unstable environments. That environment is stabilizing now. Once your daughter's clarity begins to return, you will notice momentum shift elsewhere almost immediately. Something that has been stalled will move. A decision will finalize. A door will reopen. A burden will lift without explanation. This is not coincidence. It is sequence. Family alignment always precedes material flow in divine order. And when provision begins to move, it will not trickle. It will come with confirmation. You will recognize it as restoration, not reward. Something that feels like what should have happened earlier, finally arriving intact. Do not rush to tell everyone. Quiet gratitude strengthens what arrives. Protection remains strongest. When blessings are not immediately exposed to unnecessary opinions. Now I need to speak directly to you. You have carried more responsibility than you admit. You have held emotional weight that was never meant to rest entirely on you. You have absorbed worry, guilt, and concern quietly, believing that staying strong meant staying silent. That season is ending. Strength does not require self-erasure, and protection does not require suffering. Your awareness now allows heaven to redistribute weight. What you carried alone is being shared. What you endured quietly is being acknowledged. You are not invisible in the unseen realm. You never were. There is something else unfolding that you must be ready for. A truth tied to your family history will surface, not to reopen wounds, but to explain patterns. Something unsaid, something hidden, something that shaped decisions without ever being discussed openly. When it comes to light, it will bring relief more than pain. Clarity heals faster than denial ever could. Do not fear that revelation. It will not break anything that isn't already ready to be released. And it will explain why certain cycles repeated until now. You are the interruption of that cycle. That is why pressure increased when it did. That is why interference targeted indirectly rather than openly. That is why exhaustion tried to convince you to disengage. It did not work. Your daughter's path is correcting itself. She will step away from those who misled her, not violently, not dramatically, naturally. As clarity returns, tolerance for manipulation disappears. And when she does, she will feel grief, not because she lost them, but because she will realize she was used. Be patient with that grief. It is part of healing. Do not say, "I warned you." Say, "I understand." Those words will restore trust faster than anything else. Now hear this promise clearly. Your relationship with your daughter is not ending. It is deepening. What returns will be stronger than what existed before, because it will be rooted in truth, not assumption. She will not just come back to you. She will come back to herself. And when that happens, joy will feel unfamiliar at first. Peace often does when chaos has been normalized. Allow yourself to adjust. Let calm become normal again. You are allowed to rest. Heaven is not finished speaking to you, but this phase is closing. What follows will be confirmation, not warning. Signs will appear naturally. Repeated thoughts, unexpected peace, small moments of reassurance that arrive without effort. Pay attention, but do not obsess. Trust has been restored. Before you step away from this, take one quiet breath and acknowledge what has shifted. You do not need to announce it, just recognize it. Recognition seals transition. If you feel drawn to remain connected, to continue listening when these messages appear, honor that pull. Not out of fear, but because continuity matters when alignment is fresh. Those who stay aware move forward smoothly. Those who disconnect often feel confusion. Try to return. You are not required to struggle anymore. What was hidden has been exposed. What was delayed is re-entering motion. What was threatened is protected. You did not miss your moment. You arrived exactly when it mattered. Remain steady. Remain present. And allow what is returning to find you whole.